Hey everybody, this video once again brings us back out to King of Prussia, Pennsylvania, and today's also going to be another follow-up video. I did a follow-up video yesterday on the ghosts or the angels of Bally, Pennsylvania, and it got me thinking. I've been wanting to do another follow-up video on something else I filmed, I believe, last summer, and I wanted to come back out here and take a look at this because I actually have not been out here since I filmed that. We're going to take a look at the Topgolf. And if you guys want to know why I'm fascinated by this Topgolf, if you haven't seen the previous video, it's because standing right here, right where this Topgolf is, used to be the American Baptist churches, or as we who worked there and as people from the area called it, the Holy Donut. It was literally a big, round building. It was really awesome looking, very unique looking. It housed the American Baptist churches, a bunch of different Baptist organizations that all sort of worked together, serving the hands and feet of Christ, I believe is what the motto for the American Baptist churches was. Unfortunately, all these different organizations couldn't really get along over time, and they all sort of went their separate ways, and as such, the American Baptist church is the actual, again, building with all the different companies working together under one roof, ended up splitting up, again, going their separate ways, and the actual building was no longer really needed to be around anymore, and it was getting old. It needed a lot of work. It was built quite a long time ago, and they ended up just tearing the whole thing down. Me, everybody else who worked in the mailroom, that was my job. I was in charge of all the first-class mail coming in and out of the actual mailroom. Awesome job. It was actually a really fun job. I kind of miss it. I would still, even though I'm doing this and I love doing YouTube for a living, I would still be working that job to this day if that job still existed, because it was a pretty awesome job. I got paid very well to do very little. I actually missed that job. But anyway, so me and everybody in the mailroom, we all got laid off because we were providing mail services to all the different companies. And since all those different companies were not there and the building's not there, we ended up having no job. But anyway, 14 years of my life was spent on this property, coming in and out of this development every single day, multiple times a day. It's kind of weird being here. It was really weird driving into this area right here, knowing that I used to do this all the time, and now there's these huge construction vehicles driving past. Apparently, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, these, all this dirt in the air now. I believe the buildings here, was it 640 there and all the buildings over there, they have a contract. This land was actually owned by the American Baptist churches. I don't think it still is. I don't believe they own this land at all anymore. I think they sold it. I don't know. I could be wrong about that. They maybe right where I'm standing right now is still owned by them, but like the Topgolf area isn't. I'm not entirely sure. But I believe they have like some kind of like ironclad, like 100-year lease or something like that, where these buildings have to remain here for the next X amount of years, unless I guess they decide to tear them down or they move out or something like that. But they're allowed to still be there. I wouldn't be surprised though if in the next however many years these buildings might not be here anymore, because it's kind of weird. You got this giant Topgolf here and then these corporate buildings still surrounding it. So who knows, maybe at some point those will get knocked down. But anyway, 14 years of my life spent working at a building that is no longer here. It used to be right here where the Topgolf now is. As you can see, they're really hunkering down to get this built. I'm actually surprised it's not already built. Clearly they want to open up really soon, because there are a ton of people out here working. They're doing a lot of work to get this up and running. I'm going to guess probably by the summer, if not late spring, this is going to be up and running. And it's crazy to drive through here. I just want to see if anything remains still from the days of the American Baptist churches. We're going to walk down this little path right here, because I do believe when I drove in to this area, I actually saw an old American Baptist church's sign, I think down here, that still exists. So I believe last time I was out here, I didn't tell you guys the story about how my parents actually met here at the American Baptist churches at the Holy Donut. My dad had worked here like for a very long time. I don't know if it was from when they first opened or not, but he had worked here for a very long time. Oh, they're actually doing construction down here. Maybe I shouldn't go this way. They're doing some kind of measurements and whatnot, but the actual American Baptist, I don't care. The actual American Baptist church's sign is still down here. Anyway, so my parents actually met here. My mom worked here when she, I believe, got out of high school. I think she was working here. And then my dad was working here. They actually were much different in age, but my dad was working here and they actually met here. So I would not have been born. I would not exist. I would not be doing this vlog to you. I would not be talking to you guys about the American Baptist churches today, if not for the American Baptist churches and my parents actually meeting there and falling in love and having me and my brother and getting married and whatnot. So They got married first and then had me and my brother. Wasn't a shotgun wedding. Wasn't the other way around. As you see, they're doing a ton of like landscaping out here. All kinds of construction going on. And down here, they're actually, like I said, they're pouring some concrete, and I believe they have those little those sticks where they measure distance or whatever they do with those. I have no idea what they're doing down here. But yes, the American Baptist Church's sign still does exist. That aqua and white sign there, that is an old American Baptist Church's sign. I don't know if it says, oh, it does still say American Baptist Churches USA on it. Look at that. It's got the old American Baptist Church's logo. It says American Baptist. We're gonna walk through the construction site. I don't care. They can yell at me if they want. But it still says American Baptist Churches. Still has the American Baptist Church's sign on it. I wonder when they're ever gonna tear this down. A lot of these buildings are still here. Look at that. American Baptist Churches. Theodore Pressure Company's not here anymore either. So the sign does still exist. This is like the only remains still of the American Baptist Churches. I actually worked for the Theodore Pressure Company for a little while. When I got all that for just showing you a sign anyway. So anyway, when I actually got laid off from the American Baptist Churches, again, because they closed down, the building was still there for a little while. And there was a company within that building called Theodore Presser. They were actually a company who did sheet music. They actually owned a lot of very important, very popular sheet music. They had a lot of rights to a lot of songs, a lot of very popular songs, a lot of they had all kinds of movie posters hanging up in their offices, because when a movie would want to put one of those songs in their movie, they'd have to get the rights through Theodore Presser. So it was pretty awesome. Unfortunately, the company was a terrible company to work for. The job was okay. It was a pretty easy job. I just worked in a warehouse. It wasn't that, the job was all right. It was just the company was terrible. So I only worked there for a short amount of time, maybe like 6 months, until I ended up quitting that job and going full-time with YouTube. So I did work for them for a little bit inside this, again, still inside the American Baptist Churches, not for them anymore at that point, but still inside the actual building. What is that? That is Jason Voorhees. Look at that. If anybody wants to scan that QR code, where does that take you? I apologize right now if it takes you to a bad website or something like that. But anyway, so pretty crazy. I want to come out here, do this update video for you guys. Update video for me personally. I just want to come out here and see what was going on, what they've been doing out here, how the Topgolf is coming along, just see how the property's looking. Like I said, it was really weird to drive into the property because I drove through this entrance back there and I thought to myself, man, I used to drive through that entrance multiple times a day, coming into work, leaving work, going on my lunch break. I used to have to take trips over to the post office all the time. That entrance was an entrance I used constantly when I used to work here. So it kind of like brought me back driving through that entrance. I thought, man, 14 years of my life spent coming in and out of that driveway, in and out of that entrance. When I was a kid, I used to come out here all the time too, because again, my dad worked here when I was a kid. He's actually the one who got me the job here. So even as a kid, I used to come out here all the time, visit my dad. It was a pretty awesome operation. It wasn't as big as when I started working here, but before I started working here, they had their own printing plant with these big like sheets of paper, and they make their own books and bind their own books. It was really interesting to actually come out here and see all that when I was a kid. Because as a kid, I mean, you're this tiny little kid, and there's these huge rolls of paper and these giant machines making books. It was really cool. Now how's it going? Now there's these awesome giant trucks driving around. So it was really cool coming out here as a kid. I loved visiting my dad, coming out here and seeing all the big machinery and all the stuff they had going on here. Like I said though, by the time I started working here, the printing plant was actually gone. Same building, just smaller operation. And now it's not here at all. I'm going to assume that eventually this will all get repaved, probably new curbs. You can see the old curbs that actually went in. They actually went into the loading docks right here. We're loading docks. Now there's nothing. Now there's a Topgolf. The whole building is gone. Kind of wish I would have came out here when they were tearing it down. Maybe taken a brick or something from the old American Baptist churches. I do miss working there. It's crazy when you spend 14 years of your life working somewhere only to have it just gone. It's a weird, bizarre feeling to be walking through here and to not see that building. I actually have some friends who worked here that I still talk to, and they say the same thing. They say every time they come to this area and every time they come out to King of Prussia, they drive down the highway, they drive down the road right over there, or this road right over here. They always say it's really weird looking over and not seeing the Holy Donut, the big round circular building. It was a very famous building, actually, built by Kling. I cannot remember his first name. You guys leave comments down below. His last name is Kling. He's a very famous architect in the area. I think he designed, don't hold me to this, but I think he designed Liberty 1 and Liberty 2, the big, very prominent skyscrapers in Philadelphia. I could be wrong about that. I think that was the case. I think I heard that somewhere. He was a very prominent, very important, very popular Philadelphia architect. I actually dated his granddaughter. I remember when I started working here, I was like, hey, I contacted her. I mean, we weren't dating at the time, but I contacted her afterwards. I was like, hey, I'm working in a building your grandfather designed and built. So pretty awesome. Topgolf. I mean, it's whatever. it's the future. It's progress, I suppose, right? I don't know. The building did not need to be here anymore. The American Baptist churches, even though they are still a company, they're just a much smaller company now, and all the different organizations that worked underneath the one roof have all gone their separate ways. So again, American Baptist churches still exists. It's just not in the same realm. They did not need the building anymore. The building was very old. It needed a lot of maintenance, a lot of work, a lot of upkeep to keep the building going. And the property here, this property is worth a ton of money. I forget how much back then, but I remember hearing rumors about how much this property was worth. A lot of money. It made sense for them to actually sell it. It's just a shame that such a classic, iconic, historical building was torn down to make room for a Topgolf. I've never actually been to a Topgolf. I hear it's kind of expensive. Comments down below if you've actually done a Topgolf. If you've been to Topgolf, if you've actually played at a Topgolf, let me know, because I need to come out to one of these. Maybe I should come back out here and play golf on the actual grounds that I used to work on back in the day. These giant nets. Pretty awesome. I used to actually take naps in here. I would tell on my lunch break on like summer days, I would park my car in here inside. We weren't supposed to. This is the Freedom Garage. This is a different company. Even though my company owned the property, still was a different company. This was not our parking lot to park in. However, we would still park in the parking garage all the time, especially on summer days. We didn't want our cars to get really warm, and we get yelled at when they found out about it. But I'd go in here, park my car in there, and take a nap in my car during the lunch breaks. I used to do that all the time. This building over here, I don't know if they still have it, but they used to have a pretty decent cafeteria. They had really good French toast. I would assume maybe that still exists. I'm not entirely sure about that. Over here again was the loading dock area. Anyway, guys, just wanted to do this update for you guys, bring you out here. I shouldn't even say for you guys again. This is a very personal vlog today. I wanted to come out here for me to see what the progress of the Topgolf was, see what's been happening to this property I used to work on for 14 years of my life, the property I used to come out to all the time as a kid when I would visit my father who worked out here, and the property that I owe my life to. Again, my mom and dad met here at the American Baptist churches when they both were working here, and because of that, I was born, and my brother was born, and my son was born. I owe my whole family to my mom and dad meeting here at the American Baptist churches. Over here where they're pouring all this concrete, I don't know what they're doing over here. This used to be where the cafeteria for our building was. Again, there's a cafeteria inside this building that had pretty good food. We had pretty good food too in our cafeteria. And right over here where they're pouring concrete and doing stuff, this is where our cafeteria was. Who knows what's going over here now. I don't know if this is going to be part of the Topgolf or this is going to be something else. Do not know. Maybe a restaurant or something's going in here. It's so weird to see the property looking like this. All right, guys, I'm going to let you go. Just want to come out here. Like I said, I want to see the property, do an update for you guys and for me on what's happening out here in the King of Prussia, Pennsylvania area. I guess we actually technically are in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. Valley Forge is right over there. The Valley Forge Casino, which is weird to say as well. That is right over there. That didn't used to be a casino. It used to be a convention center back in the day. And then I remember as I was working here, it actually went from a convention center to a casino. In fact, I believe, again, if I'm not mistaken, the American Baptist churches actually owned the property where the what's this person? Oh, this person's realizing they can't drive this way. They're doing construction down there. Anyway, I believe the American Baptist churches actually owned the property where the casino is now. Back when it was a convention center, they sold it to them, and then they built a convention center over there. My dad used to tell me stories about how I think there was like a riot over there. Apparently, when they were actually building the convention center, I guess there was a strike. The workers went on strike, and apparently, I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. They had these back in the day. They had these old like mobile offices, and they kind of looked like UFOs. They were in the shape of UFOs. Every now and then, you might see one of these in a person's backyard or at a roadside attraction. I've seen them at airports a lot of times for some weird reason. I see these things that look like giant UFOs, and they were actually like mobile offices where a construction site would just bring one of those in, plop it down, and that was like the office. Nowadays they have these more kind of I don't know, like tractor trailer looking offices. In fact, they have some of them over on the other side of the Topgolf. I saw this as I was driving in. Anyway, but apparently the workers were so upset about the strike, supposedly they actually like rioted and burnt one of those down. And my dad was telling me stories about how they sat here on the loading docks to the American Baptist churches and just watched the whole thing burn down. And apparently the firemen showed up and they refused to actually go in and put the fire out. They're like, we're just gonna let it burn. Because I mean, it wasn't like a building. It was just a little mobile office thing. I mean, if that burns to the ground, it's not exactly the biggest deal. But they said, nope, we're not going in there. We're not dealing with a bunch of angry construction workers who are rioting and who are setting fire to things. Like they're gonna hurt us. They're gonna set fire to the trucks or damage our trucks or you know, kill us or hurt us or something like that. So they just said heck with it. They sat out here apparently on the road and just watched everything burn down. I don't blame them. I wouldn't do that either. So anyway, crazy stories here. Pretty awesome. Over there is the actual casino now. Again, used to be a convention center. Now it's a casino. And right here, the Topgolf for the American Baptist churches. The Holy Donut at one point used to stand. Now it's a Topgolf. All right, guys, if you've ever been to the American Baptist churches, if you ever visited the Holy Donut, leave a comment down below. Look up pictures online. You guys can Google Holy Donuts or American Baptist churches, King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. You can see pictures of what the old building used to look like. There's many pictures online. I have a postcard and everything at home. I should have brought the postcard. Then I could have showed it to you guys. If I come back out here ever to the Topgolf and maybe play Topgolf, maybe I'll bring the postcard and try to do like a lineup of like where, I don't know, like an aerial view or something like that. But all right, guys, that's it. Again, I wanted to come out here, see what the progress of this was, see what the land looked like, reminisce about my days working out here, talk to you guys about how I owe this property and the building that once stood here to literally my life and the life of my son. Crazy progress. Progress is crazy, guys. All right, so not many remains of the American Baptist churches are still here. Looks like just a sign down there and some of the curbs. That's pretty much about it for the American Baptist churches. Not really much remains. I'm assuming that sign at some point, probably once the Topgolf is in here, that sign's probably coming down or at least getting changed. I can't imagine they would keep that same exact sign. It's been up there for a very long time, and a lot of those companies no longer exist on this property. So my assumption is the sign will probably come down, probably will be changed, and it looks like they're already digging up the road. So my guess is they're probably going to change the curbs as well. All the curbs over here, they can see at one point, I mean, this drainage ditch used to not be here. This was not a thing. This drainage ditch did not exist back in the day. This was all just flat. And there was a building right here. And these areas where the curbs curve in like this, they went into loading docks for where the printing plant was and the warehouses were and the mailroom was where I used to work. My guess is eventually those will be probably straightened out as well, probably changed. All right, guys, so that's it. So as always, thank you all so much for checking out this video. Be sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, check down below for links to Patreon. If you guys do become a patron, I will send you a postcard every single month from the road. Also check down below for a link to Spreadshirt, where you can grab yourself retro rest stop t-shirts. Proceeds both from Spreadshirt and from Patreon do get help supporting the show, keeping the show going. So I really do appreciate it. One last look at the Topgolf. Again, if you guys have ever been out here to when this was the Holy Donut, was the American Baptist Churches, leave a comment. If you've ever visited the building, got a big circular building. I always make the joke. When people ask me what I do for a living, I said I walked in circles for a living because I literally did. I delivered mail. I was the guy with the mail, you see in the movies, with the mail cart who goes around delivering mail to people and picking up mail and then going back down to the mail room and putting mail into different slots. I was that guy that I would meter mail and send it out, take it to the post office. That was my job. So literally all day long, I would walk in circles delivering mail. So it was a 3-story tall building. I would go do the first floor in a circle, go up the elevator, second floor, up the elevator, third floor, and then back down, back to the mailroom. So all day long, I walked in circles for a living. That's what I did. So if you guys have ever been to the building, comments down below. And if you guys have ever played at a Topgolf, leave a comment down below. Should I do this? Should I come out here and go to the driving range, play some Topgolf? Maybe I will. If it's not too crazy expensive. I think it is kind of expensive. If it's not too crazy expensive, maybe I'll come out here and do that. I'm not really much of a golfer. I'm a mini golfer. But a regular golfer, not so much. So we'll see. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. What do you guys think? Should I do a vlog at Topgolf? Let me know. All right. I know I've been rambling on now for 21 minutes. Sorry about that, guys. But there's a lot to talk about here. It's a very important part of my life. 14 years of my life. My parents met here. I used to come out here all the time when I was a kid because my dad worked out here as well. He's the one who got me the job here in the first place. As soon as I graduated college, I needed a job. My dad got me one working here at the American Baptist Churches. All right. That's it, guys. Like I said, check down below for all the different links. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. And if you guys do hit that subscribe button or you are subscribed, then I will see you in tomorrow's video. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one. Bye.